28-year-old Bryan Kohberger was arrested in
Bryan Kohberger is named
for Bryan Kohberger, the man accused of...
Bryan Kohberger, of course, is awaiting a preliminary hearing.
Currently, Bryan Kohberger served at Bryan Kohberger's car.
How y'all doing today? Good, good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick, if I could. Please, right up on that van, man.
The 18-page affidavit now released from authorities shows what led investigators to arrest Bryan Kohberger.
Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to the channel. I'm Cheryl and this is True Crime and Other Stuff. Thanks for being here, where I like to bring you the facts about true crime, the missing, current events, or anything I find interesting or important. Today, I want to talk about updates in the Bryan Kohberger case and the Sara Boone case. So we're going to take a look at a few clips. I hope you enjoy. We'll start with Bryan Kohberger.
The night 4 University of Idaho students were murdered. That's part of the alibi he's offering to the court. I have 3 surprising details of what he's claiming and what it could mean for his defense. Thanks for joining me for Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. We've known for a while now that Bryan Kohberger claimed he was out driving the night the 4 students were murdered in that house on King Road. But now we have a little more detail about where Bryan Kohberger claimed he went and why. Kohberger maintains he didn't murder Maddie Mogen, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle on November 13th, 2022. So he says he certainly wasn't at that house. Instead, his lawyer's right. Mr. Kohberger was out driving in the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, as he often did, to hike and run and or see the moon and stars. He drove throughout the area south of Pullman, Washington, west of Moscow, Idaho, including Hawaii Park. In Idaho, if a defendant is going to claim they have an alibi, they have to tell the prosecutor about a specific place or places where they were when a crime took place. And they have to identify a witness or witnesses who can vouch for them. Here's what Judge John Judge told the defense about that last summer.
Well, the way I understand this is, and this is in the so-called alibi, not really an alibi, but, quote, he was out driving during the late night and early morning hours of November 12th to 13th, 2022.
So interestingly enough, Kohberger didn't identify any witnesses who can say, I saw Bryan in that filing. So Kohberger has kind of offered an alibi. This is what I would call alibi-ish. The filing also seeks to cast doubt on claims made by the prosecution in its probable cause affidavit. For instance, police had said Bryan Kohberger's cell phone was moving south through Pullman at 2:27 a.m. the morning of the murders, but then stopped reporting to cell networks until 4:48 a.m. That covers the time the murders are believed to have occurred. But Kohberger claims his expert, Cy Ray, analyzed cell records and will testify that Bryan Kohberger's mobile device was south of Pullman, Washington, and west of Moscow, Idaho on November 13th, 2022, and that Bryan Kohberger's mobile device did not travel east on the Moscow-Pullman highway in the early morning hours of November 13th, and thus could not be the vehicle captured on the video along the Moscow-Pullman highway near Floyd's cannabis shop. Now, in this notice of alibi, Kohberger explains how he moved to Washington from Pennsylvania in June of 2022 and was an avid runner and hiker, so he'd often explore the area, often late at night. One place he frequented was Hawaii Park near Pullman, where he was a student at Washington State University. So what does all of this mean for Bryan Kohberger's case? With me to discuss that is Andy Wilson. He is a former prosecutor. He has prosecuted death penalty cases in the past. Andy, this alibi, I call it alibi-ish, because Bryan Kohberger's not naming any witnesses who can actually vouch for him. So what does that mean for this filing?
Well, first of all, the Idaho Criminal Code requires that if you're going to use an alibi defense, you have to file notice of it. This is part of that process. And the whole idea is to put the prosecution really kind of on notice of what it is you're going to try to say, so they can prepare to present rebuttal evidence to deal with whatever that defense is going to be. So typically, from a prosecution point of view, what you like to see with an alibi is, or with a notice of alibi, is some level of specificity. And what I see here is this is just kind of a general pleading. Hey, the defendant was out in the country in the middle of the night, looking at the moon, looking at stars. From a prosecutor point of view, I certainly would respond and ask for more specificity. I would ask for specific witnesses who may be able to prove his comings and goings. They did list a witness that they're going to try to use to show where he was through phone records, but I just don't think that that's probably general enough to do what you have to do with respect to the alibi.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to want a specific person who can actually testify to this. That's what I'm guessing they mean by a witness, a person.
Okay, so we're gonna stop there. What do you think about that alibi? I don't know. I don't think it would fly with most people's parents. Yeah, okay. All right, we're going to take a look at this next video, and I think this one tells us when to expect a trial for Bryan Kohberger.
5. He's the man suspected of murdering those 4 beautiful University of Idaho students, and he appeared in court on Thursday. The judge set that trial date for him, blocked out 2 weeks just to do the jury selection, and 3 whole months for the trial. Now, both sides agreed on that date, no objections to it. Let's listen to what Kohberger's attorney had to say.
Your Honor, first, I know the court has listed this as taking place in Latah County. We haven't been heard on our change of venue yet. That's to come in August. So I don't want anybody thinking I'm agreeing to Latah County is all. The June of 2025, that's the time frame that we have been working towards. I am hopeful that we can come in there. We're working towards that date. I think it's reasonable to set that date.
Now, there are a lot of eyes on this case, of course, and lots of theories about what happened in that home where Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle were murdered. There's even a brand new book about it, and the author has a different theory about why those murders occurred. I'm so pleased to welcome him in now on the show. Author Howard Bloom is joining us. He wrote the book I have in my hands here, When the Night Comes Falling. Howard, good morning to you, and welcome. Could we start, please, with your background? You have a really impressive background. Talk a little bit about it. Tell our viewers, and then tell us kind of why you were drawn to this case.
Well, I was an investigative reporter at the New York Times for over a decade. I was nominated for 2 Pulitzers at the paper. I then went on to, at Vanity Fair, was a contributing editor for at least 20 years. I've written 16 books, many of them bestsellers. Why was I drawn to this case? I was drawn to this case almost by accident. We started discussing it around the Thanksgiving table just about a week after the murders occurred. And it was such a perplexing mystery that I thought, well, this would be sort of exciting to try to put on my old investigator's trench coat, go out to Idaho, and see if I could try to put the details of this case together. And I made a call to Graydon Carter, who has Airmail magazine, and he said, sure, go for us. And I went out there, and I started knocking on doors and speaking to people. And this was fortunately in the early days before there was a gag order. And I was able to establish some relationships that held in place for the next 18 months as I sat down and researched and wrote.
Sure. Really doing what you do best, Howard. So in the book, you write that you believe that one of the roommates was the target. Talk to us about that, please.
Sure. first, we should state for the record that the prosecution and the defense have stated categorically that there was no interaction between the suspect, Bryan Kohberger, and any of the victims, either in person or in social media. That's what they say for the record. I think the reality is a little subtler. On the night of the murders, the suspect enters through the kitchen door on the second floor of the house. There are 2 bedrooms on either side. He could have gone into either of those bedrooms if he was just on a murder spree. However, he goes up the stairs to the 3rd floor and enters the bedroom of Maddie Mogen. He finds in that bedroom, Kaylee is there too. She's just come in for the weekend to show off her new car. I believe he didn't expect to see her there. He is obsessed, I believe, with Maddie. Did he ever speak with her? Did he meet her when she was a waitress at the Mad Greek restaurant where he went to at times because of the vegetarian or vegan food there? I think that's what happened. He saw her. He was a man who obsessions come easily to him. He was a heroin addict. He's a man who decided to reinvent himself. He lost 125 pounds, turned his body into a fortress. For whatever reason about Maddie, as you show her picture there, her exuberance, her blonde good looks, her vivaciousness, she captivated him. And I think he felt ultimately that the world was just too an impossible place for him to exist, where there were such people in it, and he was not part of what was happening. There have been many police body cam videos shown of the parties that the young students gave. And I think he witnessed those events from the outside. He was on the periphery of those events. And that was a constant rebuke to him. And he focused on Maddie, and everyone else. And that grim, horrible night was really just collateral damage.
Wow. It's an interesting theory, Howard. It really is. And who knows, maybe at the time of trial, we'll see the prosecution lay out something similar. Perhaps there was one intended target, and then things spun out of control. If Bryan Kohberger is the killer, obviously cloaked in the presumption of innocence legally. Tell me, Howard, how much of your...
Okay, we're going to stop there. Okay, that's Howard Bloom, and some people like the book and some people don't. I've heard mixed reviews. So now we're going to move on to Sara Boone. This is a rare heard interview with the police and Sara Boone in the back seat of a police car. It's just the audio, and we'll listen to it. Let's take a listen now.
At the Tealwood Park Apartments, and also in the car with me is my partner,
Detective Scott Lowen,
and in the front seat is, can you state your name, ma'am?
Sara Boone.
Okay, and your birthday?
10/10/77.
Okay. So, Sara, I know you have talked to some deputies. I know we had a very brief conversation, just to reiterate what you told that deputy. But like I was explaining, I would like to get a more further understanding of what happened last night and ask you more detailed questions. I am going to read you your rights, but it's just because that's how we do things, okay? So you do have the right to remain silent, okay? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Anything you say may be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer before and during questioning without charge. If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one can be provided for you before questioning without charge. Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me?
No.
Do you understand what I just read you?
Yes.
Okay. So, last night you said that you and your boyfriend George were here at your residence and didn't really leave that day. You said that he went to the store to buy cigarettes.
Yes.
What time was that around? If you recall. Was it light out still, dark out?
Yes, it was light out still.
It was still light out, okay. But he's the only person that left, and he came back?
Yes.
I'm assuming? Okay.
It's right down the street.
It's down the street, okay. And tell me what you guys were doing next. Like, what was happening?
We had a bottle of wine We painted, we drew, we did puzzles.
Do you remember what wine you guys were drinking?
It's Woodbridge Chardonnay.
Okay.
The bottles are in the trash.
Okay. Chardonnay. Okay. And do you remember around like what time this was that you guys were sharing the bottle of wine, painting, doing puzzles?
I'm gonna say 4-ish.
Okay. And was this before he went to the store or after?
I'm sorry?
Had he already gotten home from the store at this point to buy the cigarettes?
Yes.
Okay. So it was around 4 p.m.
ish
that you realized, and you guys were doing
puzzles and art.
Okay.
Listening to music, enjoying each other's company.
And all downstairs, upstairs? Where did you guys? Downstairs. Okay.
We usually sit on the back porch because we smoke and you're not allowed to smoke inside, so.
Okay. And who was here last night? Was it just the two of you? Yeah? Okay. No one ever came over at any point?
No.
No? Okay.
We called his daughters on FaceTime.
Okay.
We were just literally just enjoying one another's company.
Okay. And you guys share the phone that you have,
Yes.
correct? Okay. And the phone's located in there, I think, in the
Yes.
kitchen area? Yeah. Okay. So tell me what happens next. You're painting, you guys are doing this puzzle together, you obviously finished the bottle of wine.
Yes.
Did you have 1 or 2 bottles of wine?
Well, we had one previously that was maybe not even half full.
Okay.
But then...
So you finished that one and then you had the full one?
Yes.
Okay.
And sorry, what was the question?
Just what did you guys do next after the bottle of wine? Like after you guys finished the wine?
We had the bottle of wine while we were doing our arts and crafts. And from there, we were puzzled out, we were painted out. So, being silly, let's play hide and seek, which we have played before. Like, I don't know if you've opened the door on the top of the stairwell, like, he and I have hidden in there before. Like, just having fun and enjoying each other's company.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's literally all it was. And then the suitcase is downstairs because I was telling you we were getting ready to do donations. And because it's not a very good suitcase, what was the question? I'm sorry.
You were just explaining to me the night.
Oh, he decided to hide in there. So, being silly, he and I were sitting there laughing at it, like with him in there. And then, so I didn't zip it up all the way, but I mean enough to where his little fingers were out there and whatever, but still having a good time and whatever. Then I guess I decided to go upstairs, and I don't know, I fell asleep. So I woke up this morning and again thought he was downstairs on the laptop looking for a job, as he usually is. And then thought, where is he? Is he on the back porch? Is he in the bathroom? Like, where is he? And then I came to about the suitcase. So I opened the suitcase. I took him out, stretched him out, started to do CPR. Where air was coming out, and then like whatever gurgle. So I'm trying to do CPR on him.
Innovation.
I'm shaking him, trying to get him to come to, but I could tell by looking at him something was wrong. He's been losing his teeth lately and has been complaining about his chest hurts, which is why I keep trying to get him to go to the doctor, but because he nor I have a job or insurance, has been putting it off. So again, I didn't know what to do, so I called Bryan, my ex-husband. I called him, he came over, just walked in and then walked out. I grabbed my phone and I called you guys. From there, here we are.
Okay. The first time you woke up this morning, did you look at your phone to see what time it was?
No.
Okay.
Most of the time, like, I'll wake up, but because he nor I have a job, I'll usually just lay in the bed for a little bit longer because the house is clean. There's nothing else that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Me thinking he's on the laptop looking for jobs, I can't use a laptop. So most of the time I'll just stay in the bed and collect my thoughts and get ready for the day.
So do you have any idea what time you woke up that first time? What time it may have been? I don't know if you guys have
I'm going to say
clock.
11 something. 11 something.
Okay.
Maybe.
Is that when you finally got up, or is that the first time you woke up?
No, that's the time that I decided to get up because I figured he was downstairs on the laptop. So let him look for jobs on the laptop, and then it usually I'll clean, he'll look for jobs, or vice versa, where I'll look for jobs and he'll clean.
Okay. So you think you got out of bed after 11 at some point?
Yes.
Okay. But we can't recall which time. Do you think you were up for like hours before that, or collecting your thoughts?
Bryan, because I was supposed to have my son today to pick him up from school. Bryan usually calls to make sure, hey, are you sure you're getting Lucas today? Because I've had job interviews.
Right.
Are you going to pick up Lucas? So after he called like maybe 3, 4 times, maybe 5, I finally answered, and that's like...
Do you think you were sleeping and missed those calls?
No, I ignored them.
You ignored them?
Because he's notorious for blowing up my phone.
Okay.
But I understand why, because he's making sure that Lucas gets home.
Right, yeah, okay.
And to do whatever he needs to do day-wise so he can schedule around it.
Were you upstairs in your room at that time when you were ignoring those phone calls?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so not really sure what time you woke up initially, but you were upstairs collecting your thoughts. You figured he was on the laptop downstairs, so you were just getting ready for your day.
Yes.
You finally got out of bed at sometime after 11 a.m. And had gone downstairs.
Yes.
Okay.
Looking for him, and
couldn't find him. You looked outside, couldn't find him anywhere.
He wasn't in the bathroom. I was thinking maybe he's in the bathroom. But then I came to and remembered the suitcase.
And then you called Bryan.
Yes. He
told
came
him
over.
to come over.
Yes, he came over.
He lives down the road, right? Not very far. He came over, walked in, basically walked out. You called 911.
Yes, I had my phone in my hand. I just wanted to wait for him to get there because I didn't know what to do.
Right. Okay. And then we arrived.
Like, I couldn't, I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know what happened, but, like, my whole thing is, the whole, like, teeth losing thing, and I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what, he and I were having an amazing time yesterday, like we normally do.
No arguments? No nothing? Okay.
And the thing with him, though, is, which is why we've been doing puzzles and artwork lately, is that he's been stressing about a job, of course.
Of course.
Which we've talked about. So what I did was start...
Number 97!
So what I did was start having him do puzzles and artwork to keep his mind off of it.
Okay.
His ex-wife is all over him about sending money, which he can't do because he doesn't have a job.
Right.
So he was stressing about that. He's been stressing about the job. But that's why I started to buy puzzles and paint to get his mind off of them, which is what I don't know if you noticed on the wall in there, it's all of our artwork and stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, music, art, and playing with the dogs, dancing around the room with the dogs. And then decided to play hide and seek. Because we're always trying to outdo each other on where we can hide the best.
How often do you guys play hide and seek?
Gosh, that was maybe, the third time? Maybe.
Okay. Is it a more recent game you've gotten into, or 3 times the total in your relationship you're talking about?
Lately.
Lately.
because again, like, we were puzzled out, but we painted already, so why not?
So you were downstairs hanging out. Do you remember around what time you guys started playing hide and seek?
Honestly, I don't.
Do you remember if it was dark out?
Yeah, it was dark.
Okay.
It was dark. But my thing is like, when I spend time with him and I tried to get him to start doing it, I don't look at the clock.
Okay.
I'm here with him and we're having a good time. I don't need to know what time it is.
Right. I didn't know if you were like on your phone, if you got a text message, if you got a phone call last night.
We called his daughters yesterday, FaceTime.
Right. What time was that at?
I don't know without looking at my phone.
Okay.
But ended up...
would that be the only activity that you had yesterday on your phone?
I called Lucas. I talked to Lucas. He's my son.
Okay.
I always call him.
Morning?
No, it was evening.
Evening? Okay.
But
I'm just trying to help you, like, remember something you did right before hide and seek that would help you remember a time or give us a good time frame, because that's important for us to know. We want to be able to tell the doctors that.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Okay. So when you called Lucas, was it before or after hide and seek?
Before.
Okay. And when you called and FaceTimed his daughters, before or after hide and seek?
Before.
Okay. And did you call the daughters first and then Lucas, or Lucas first and then the daughters?
I know I talked to Lucas, but then we talked to the daughters afterwards.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't remember if she called us. No, I know he called Cookie. But yes, we called her.
What are the two daughters' names? Or just one? Did you say one
he
daughter?
He has
or
three
two?
children. It's Anna, Cookie, but her real name is Destiny. And then he has a handicapped son, Georgie.
Okay. Who did you call, though, yesterday? Who did he call?
Cookie.
And what is Cookie's real name?
Destiny.
Does she have his last name or something else?
It's Torres. Because she remarried, but I don't know her last name.
Okay. Okay, so you know it's dark out, but you're not really sure what time it is. You play hide and seek. How long do you guys play hide and seek before he decides to get into the suitcase?
Oof.
Approximate.
Wasn't really. I hid upstairs in the shower. And then came downstairs because I was tired of hanging out in the shower.
Okay.
So that's when he was playing around in the suitcase. So
okay.
Because we both thought it was funny that oh yeah, well, I'm gonna zip you up. You didn't come look for me. So again, it's a broken suitcase, but
what do you mean by broken?
It's only got one of these, but because I didn't zip it up all the way, he was doing the...
You mean it doesn't have, like, the pull part?
Correct.
Okay, but it's
I think it's got a, what do you call it? A paper clip.
Okay. So the zipper to it is missing, like the actual zipper that attaches to it to help you open and close is missing, but you think a paper clip was on it instead?
I believe there's a paper clip on it, because I know that the last
that's
time...
what you used to, like, help assist you?
Well, or you can just stick your fingers in there and...
Right, yeah, you
unzip
could do
it yourself, which is why I did not zip it up all the way.
Okay. So how much did you zip it up?
I mean, I don't really know.
You said his fingers were able to stick out?
Yeah, two fingers.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm figuring he'll get it. He'll get it. But then I wanted to go upstairs and waited for him, and eventually I guess I fell asleep. I had the dogs in the bed with me, was warm, and then fell asleep.
So you guys are joking. He's in there. You said you could see two of his fingers?
Yes.
And then Like, you just decided, okay, I'm going to go upstairs now? Or?
Because I figured he would get out and then go upstairs and have intimate relations like we normally do. But I fell asleep.
Okay.
And he never came upstairs. So, again, I'm thinking he's downstairs on the laptop earlier today. And then remembered.
Okay. So, is this something that do you guys play hide and seek before you have sexual intercourse? Or do you guys just play hide and seek because you're bored and you're just trying to pass time and it's fun?
We were, again, puzzled out. Can't paint anymore. Even started to purge some of the art that's on the wall now. So.
Wow. Sarah Boone, you are one crazy bird. I don't even think that's how you play hide and go seek. All right, so now I have another clip of what's happening now with Sarah Boone. Let's take a look at this one.
Live, we are switching gears now to Florida, where defendant Sarah Boone is now going to be representing herself at trial. There was a last-minute hearing on Friday, and the judge in that case said 8 is enough, granting Boone's former attorney's motion to withdraw and ruling that the defendant has now, on her 8th lost attorney, forfeited her right to counsel because of her ongoing difficulties with all of those other counsel. At a status conference last month, we heard Boone express her frustrations and telling the court why she thinks that things could be going better, saying, quote, she was doing her best.
And I feel that she is untruthful with me and full-blown prejudice against me, which I believe adds to her nasty attitude towards me, and I do not trust her. So I have prepared this for you. It's a letter and then a continuation of the letter from the video visit, sir, you are aware of, and everyone constantly blames me that I am the reason why I am supposedly on attorney number 8, which I am not the reason for any of them. I put this in here also so you are aware. I refuse to be mistreated by her as my attorney. I'm shocked that she has a proposed trial date, considering the fact that I have not seen anything. I keep asking her for just a download of my phone or my medical records or for anything that I've asked pretty much all of the other attorneys as well. All of my questions that I keep asking her are in a letter to you. I didn't know if you would be the one to help me answer them or to spur her to finally answer them to me and hopefully truthfully. I don't know. As I've said to you before in the past, you said that you are not able to intervene regarding my letters. I still want you to be aware of what it is that I am going through, still. And it's a matter of ethics and professionalism with how she should be treating me, and I shouldn't have to come up with a pre-planned judge in order for her to do so. And also some other things that I've been working on in the meantime that I would like everyone else to be made aware of. That I don't just sit and eat bonbons and watch soap operas all day. I fully apply myself at all times.
The court knows I've spent probably 20 hours, a little bit more, a little bit less, with Miss Boone. She has lots of lists, lots of questions. In reviewing the court file, she was distressed previously about having access to her lawyers. I have taken collect phone calls from her that are at my expense. JAC doesn't reimburse you because I think it's important for clients to have access. I have spent...
Hang on, please. No one's interrupted you this morning, Ms. Boone.
As I said, I've spent over 20 hours going through her questions, going through her lists. When I tried to update her with regard to the depositions that I took recently, she opted to exit the jail conference. When I tried to review some things with regard to discovery as to things I wanted to make sure she was aware of, she walked out. She has asked me repeatedly for a copy of some medical records. based on the discovery I got from the previous attorneys, one of the copies of those medical records had her handwritten notes. So she had a copy given to her previously. She'd reviewed them with previous attorneys. I sent her a new copy. Some of the things that she thinks are important from a lawyer perspective, perhaps I don't attach the same importance to, and you try to explain that to a client. You know, I know the court's in a difficult position, but at this point, we're at that impasse of if she walks out of every conference that I have with her, I'm not sure what that says about the attorney-client relationship.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong other than wanting to have a very successful outcome. It's just been long and drawn out, and I believe that God obviously believes in me as much as I do him in order for him to give me this very unique adventure that I am on, and I'm doing my best to let everyone know who I really am as opposed to the malicious murderer that everyone thinks that I am. I don't feel that she can do that properly. I still always, the reason why I'm here is hope. Is to hope that she will come in with a gentle, softer side and actually listen to what it is that I'm saying and see the bigger picture other than what's the one avenue that she keeps going down. There's other ways to win and more than one way. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not saying that I'm trying to remove her. I'm just trying to ask you, please, forgive me for having to ask you for this. If you could please let her know, please, to just be nice to me.
The defendant there calling this a, quote, unique adventure that she's on. Her trial is set to begin on October 7th, where she's going to face charges in the murder of her boyfriend, Jorge Torres. She admits to zipping him up in a suitcase and maintains that his death was an accident after a night of drinking. Still with us, criminal defense attorney Marie Pereira and criminal defense attorney Josh Schiffer. Marie Pereira, based on what you just saw from her inside of the courthouse, thinking back to the pro se defendants that we've had on court TV, what do you expect from this defendant? Do you think we're going to have a lot of antics in the courtroom, something more like Darryl Brooks, or something that might actually sway a jury like in the Tyrone Tucker Treehouse murder trial?
She seems very articulate and reasonable, but she is kidding right now. She wants a gentle, softer side in her defense attorney, that coming from someone who allegedly watched her boyfriend suffocate in a suitcase while she says, you can't breathe? Maybe you need to shut the bleep up. Really a gentle, softer side. That's hilarious. If it wasn't so tragic, it would be hilarious. But she seems very well thought out. It seems like she wants to be wannabe lawyer, and she's telling the woman maybe strategy that makes no sense. I had a client once who abused his daughters sexually and wanted me to lodge a defense that they were promiscuous, and he thought by abusing them, it would calm down their sexual urges. A churchman, by the way. This is, people
In it just barely enough to stand trial. Do you think that
Okay, so those are the updates with Sara Boone and Bryan Kohberger. And thanks for watching my video. Thanks for watching my videos and have a good one.